All right, welcome back to MMA Al Dente, guys. I'm here to talk to you about Mackenzie Dern versus Xiaonan. It is the main event of this upcoming fight night. It's a decent main event, I want to say. Could be better, of course. I could understand why some people would be critical, but I think it's still a fight between two very relevant top five, maybe, fighters. My point is the winner of this fight could very well be fighting for a title within the next year. Now, before I start, let me say like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Let me beg, I should say. But moving on. Mackenzie Dern versus Xiaonan. I could see this fight going two ways. And you could probably guess them, broadly, how I see them going. Yan via decision or Dern via submission. And it'd be interesting to see this fight go longer. I'd love to see Dern have success, especially with her grappling later on in a fight, especially when she's not able to get there early. But I think with her, the submissions will always come early. I don't think they're bound to come late, especially in a 5-round fight. My point is, if Mackenzie Dern is winning the majority of a 5-round fight, she's going to get a finish anyway. It almost makes it impossible for her to win a decision. But Xiaonan, she's a fighter that I truly believe can excel in a 5-round fight. In rounds 4 and 5, certainly in a standing fight. I really like what I've seen from her. That fight with Marina Rodriguez was razor thin. I thought it could have gone either way. I scored it for Rodriguez twice. I've seen it twice. And I scored it for Rodriguez. But Xiaonan is a very elite fighter when she's not on the bottom. I think that's what makes this a very exciting matchup, is Mackenzie Dern. If she's able to get on top of Xiaonan, I don't see it being even a methodical destruction like we saw from Carla Esparza. I see Mackenzie Dern slicing through that guard and getting an advantageous position very quickly. Maybe not too quickly, hopefully not too quickly for her sake. She doesn't want to squash it, squander the opportunity. But she's going to have she's going to have a distinct advantage if she gets on top of Xiaonan. I would see the fight ending pretty easily. I think if she gets on top of her with half a round to work, she's going to put her away. Now, Yan, it's not like we've seen her destroyed every time she's been there, but the loss to Carla Esparza just wasn't inspiring. That was a very discouraging loss, for fans of hers. But I do think Xiaonan still is underrated in that regard, certainly odds-wise. I didn't expect these odds. Xiaonan's pretty much a 2-1 underdog, and I thought it might even be reversed, where Yan was the favorite. Although, when I was thinking that, I had it in my head, she'll be the favorite, and I'll bet on Mackenzie Dern, because that was my prediction, I guess, from the beginning, just to spoil the prediction halfway through the video here. But Mackenzie Dern, the upside is just too great if she gets on the ground. She doesn't have the wrestling to impose herself like Carla Esparza does. Carla Esparza was kind of given those opportunities with a very aggressive Yan. In both rounds, she was aggressive and just hit the mat very early, never got up. You barely remember her standing in that fight, and because she wasn't really. And that was a mistake that she could absolutely mitigate just with more composure, not being so aggressive. She charged at Carla with punches, and then maybe in the second round she was trying to be more reserved or whatever, but she still threw a front kick, a high kick, and Carla caught it. Her foot never landed, and she was taken down. That was it. But still, Carla Esparza, as good as she is on the ground, she's one of the best grapplers in the division. She is not known for destroying fighters. So that was still like the anomaly in her career, her UFC career, I want to say. And it's the best she's looked. She cut through Jan's guard. She finished that fight. I think she finished it in crucifix position, which is something, Mackenzie Dern could absolutely take advantage of, but Mackenzie doesn't have that, smothering wrestling style. Mackenzie Dern, she gets into the crucifix, she's going to be reaching across and spinning around for a Kimura or whatever. She's very, obviously she's the most skilled jiu-jitsu artist, maybe in the UFC altogether, I don't know, but, one of them, and certainly of the females. And Mackenzie Dern, the reason I pick her in this fight, despite her wrestling, is because she doesn't always need her wrestling to get the fight to the ground. Her wrestling's been there for her in some key spots. That's what got her the first round submission over Nina Nunes. Pressure and wrestling, and of course jiu-jitsu afterwards. But her fights with Amanda Bobby Cooper, Randa Marcos, and whoever the fuck else. Hannah Cyphers. Hannah Cyphers. I hope nobody, Jan or anybody, makes the mistakes Hannah Cyphers made. Hannah Cyphers was like, I forget what she did exactly. She pulled Mackenzie into a grappling match, laced her leg and tried to grapple and just got submitted when she didn't have to be grappling. And that's what it was. She was standing over Mackenzie Dern and engaging with her. Wrong move. But Yan Xiaonan, I don't expect to see that from. But anyway, let me get back to my point. Mackenzie Dern doesn't need wrestling to get the fight to the ground. Even in her two recent fights against Marina Rodriguez and Tisha Torres, she pulled guard. Or she, locked up a Kimura and pulled guard. And then against Marina Rodriguez, they kind of crashed into each other, and Mackenzie just sat back and laced up a leg and started rolling. Got a nice position there, hit a sweep. And that's what she needs. She needs one opportunity to get the fight to the ground, not just to pull her down and go for an armbar from the bottom, but especially to hit a sweep or something and secure the top position, where Jan is forced to grapple from her back. And then I think Mackenzie wins this fight. Now, I do think she's going to have a lot of trouble getting it there after round 2, getting it to the ground. Jan, I still don't see as this defensive wrestling force. She's not even Marina Rodriguez, who's been on the ground plenty with Carla Esparza and whoever else, and Mackenzie and whatever. But Jan has weaker takedown defense. She does. She just seems a little easier to wrangle, which could just prove to be the difference itself, with Mackenzie straight up out wrestling her. But if not, I think Mackenzie she's got a lot of tricks. And believe me, she's going to be testing that wrestling early, and if that doesn't work out for her, she's got plan A, B, C, and D. Pulled guard, Kimura, jump on a leg, and whatever the fuck, and yada yada. And she's going to be working all that in 2 rounds. If it doesn't work out for her, I don't see her having that wrestling prowess, certainly, late in the fight. I don't see her being able to carry that wrestling deep into the fight. I think she's good for a shot or 2 early when she's fresh. And, of course, when they are on the feet, she's going to be losing. Mackenzie's tough. I don't see her being finished. But she's limited. She's a limited striker. And, of course, her striking's really just meant to get her to the ground, so I understand it. But Mackenzie, really, on the feet, would be best served by being aggressive and smothering Jan in the clinch, which, of course, she'll probably be doing because she'll just be trying to take it to the ground. But that's where she could work her, be the best on her feet, bullying Jan around in tight. But at range, Jan throws great volume. She doesn't slow down. We saw her throwing down with Marina Rodriguez in round 3, which I thought Rodriguez won, but Jan absolutely was in that round, and she was throwing hard and fast. So I was really impressed with her. And of course, that's one of her most recent performances. I think Jan is favored to win rounds 3, 4, and 5. I think she's favored to win a decision, generally speaking. This is how I see the fight. Jan via decision or Mackenzie via submission rounds 1 or 2. Gun to my head, I'd go with Mackenzie because, again, she doesn't need the wrestling there, and I do think Jan's wrestling is generally weaker. But if she's not able to submit her in the first 2 rounds, Jan's going to be taking over the fight. And it will be similar. A Jan victory will absolutely look similar to a Marina Rodriguez victory over Mackenzie Dern. And a Jan loss will look like a typical Mackenzie Dern win. Submission early, first round or second. That's my prediction. Gun to my head, I'm going with Mackenzie because, again, she's got more than one way to get it down. And, that's my prediction. But I will be betting on Jan plus 325 to win a decision. She's plus 185, which you could put in parlays. That's a nice number itself. But plus 325 is really my prediction for her only path to victory. But my true prediction and my bets are Mackenzie Dern submission early. I guess I'd go round 1. But rounds 1 and 2 are plus 285 and plus 600. So we'll see what happens. I do expect it to be a good main event. And I'm hoping to see a submission, I guess. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. 10 minutes flat.